Hi, Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. In today's video, I want to talk about what happens if you're charged with OUI and a case is going to be heard in the Hingham District Court. Hingham's a court I've been handling cases in for a long time, and I'll go through the process in this video. Today, what I'll do is I'll talk about the three major concerns people have. They want to know what's going to happen in a license, can they win the case, and what's going to happen in court. What are they going to have to do? Let's start with what's going to happen in court. First court date, it's not the trial, it's the arraignment. A lot of people think the first court date, they're going to decide the case. Quite the contrary. First court date, you're going to enter a not guilty plea, and you'll get a further date to appear to come back for what's called pre-trial. If it's your first OUI, it's going to be a very quick process. Second OUI, same thing. Generally, the arraignment's very formal. If it's your third OUI, there might be an issue of bail and some other proceedings. But for today's purposes, let's assume it's your first or even second OUI. So you're going to be released on your promise to appear in court, and you'll come back at a future court date. At the arraignment, we'll get a copy of the reports. This is the first time we see what the government's alleging. In other words, if you were arrested on Friday night, a lot of people will call and say, hey, can I go down to the police station and get a copy of the report? It's not available, so you can't do that, so you don't really know what the government is alleging until you see the police report at the arraignment. Next court date will be the pre-trial. That's when you get the video evidence, and sometimes we can't really fully evaluate the case until we get a video because the video is going to tell the full story. So the report, these reports sometimes are vague, sometimes they leave stuff out, but I do have a good idea of what I think about the case. Sometimes I'll just need the video. I'll say it's a close case. Depending on how the video is, we'll go one way or the other. It might be a plea, it might be a trial. Sometimes the video will help in terms of legal issues. If you took a breathalyzer, the video might help to see if we can knock out the breath test and have the case just decided on the observations. So don't assume a breath test comes into evidence. They have to get it into evidence. If it's excluded, it won't be considered by the court. So it doesn't really matter the result. Even if it's a high result, the legal process to get it excluded is the same. If it's closer to the legal limit, like you're at 0.08, 0.09, 0.10, we might have a margin of error argument, so there's additional defenses, but the same legal requirements apply no matter what the result is. So that's what we'll do in terms of figuring out whether we're going to fight the case, evaluate the case based on the police report. I'll talk to you about your medical conditions, if there's any that might affect your balance, how the field sobriety tests were viewed, or even the officer's observations. Sometimes people have issues with their eyes. It might explain bloodshot, glassy eyes. Sometimes people have a speech impediment. It might explain slurred speech and things like that. So next thing people want to know is what's going to happen to their license. If you refused a breath test, 6 months suspension for refusal. There's no quick way to get your license back. If you are found not guilty prior to the 6 months, there's a presumption of reinstatement. If you took a breathalyzer and failed, it's a 30-day suspension. After 30 days, you can get your full license back, even if we're fighting the case. So generally speaking, short license suspension if you took a breath test and failed. If you refuse, the only way to get your license back is if you admit to the OUI and apply for a hardship. But the benefit of refusing, it's a tougher case for them to prove in court. So you're more likely to win, but you might have to deal with getting rides for a longer period of time, essentially. Some cases involve accidents. It could be an immediate threat suspension if you went to the hospital. Generally, those cases will start with what's called a clerk magistrate hearing. So there's a different process. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to stick with your basic OUI where you're arrested, going to court on Monday after arrest over the weekend, or Thursday, going to court on Friday. So understand that we look at the report to decide whether we can fight the case, license consequences, short suspension if you failed the breathalyzer, longer suspension if you refuse, better chance to win the case. We can end that 6-month suspension early if we can get a not guilty prior to the 6 months. Finally, what's the court process? You're not going to be asked to speak at court, probably never going to speak at all. The only time you'll speak is if you have to testify, and you'll be prepared for that. So keep that in mind. There's different defenses to these cases. A lot of times I don't need my clients to testify. In some cases I will, or have other witnesses, but that's a rarity, but you'll be well prepared for that. So If you have questions, you got a court in Hingham District Court, feel free, call, text anytime. My name is Mike DelSignore. Passion is helping people charged with OUI make the best decisions for themselves on their cases. 781-686-5924, here to help you.